Can you hear me? Is it better now? Can you?
There's a delay of 10 seconds. Maybe so after 10 seconds I can. Wait a minute.
Can you hear me now? I guess desktop audio is full.
Yeah, you don't do this.
Can you hear me? Yeah. I guess now you all can hear me, right? This is okay. Amo? So I guess sorry for that. I guess just didn't work out the way I wanted to. Okay, all right, perfect. So now it's working. Okay, so what I basically plan doing is that on today's we're doing this. I'm doing this for the first time. The survival rush. I'll be solving as many puzzles as possible. Okay, perfect. As many puzzles as possible, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the thought process, what exactly goes and how you can actually solve these rushes. How are these you can implement in your games also. Uh, and these puzzle rushes, first 20 puzzles, you will generally come across mate in one, hanging pieces. Uh, then you will have night folks, maybe back rank. So uh, it's going to be loaded with that. Okay, so first 20 questions, if even if you are rated around, even if you are a beginner, advanced beginner, you should be able to touch at least 20. Okay, but okay, all right, audible now. Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's get started. We are already running a little late, but anyway, let's get started. And every Saturday, I plan to start with some kind of live games where I'll play blitz, fast games. Uh, okay, so this is the survival, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and we are going to go for survival mode. Uh, and let's begin. So, all right, what I've challenged, I had asked a poll to everyone, like on the YouTube itself, what should be my target, and target what I got according to the polls was around 35 to 40. But I guess let's try to crush 45 plus. Let's try to get that. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Now every move, this first initial ones are going to be very simple. The king is stuck behind the pawns. You just go on to the last rank, give a check, and that's a mate. Rook goes here again. Similarly, we just capture that rook, right? Queen captures the rook, check, and it's going to be a mate. Pawn captures here. I have, so what you got to see here, yeah, what you got to see here is that you have queen, bishop, rook. Opponent has two rooks, queen and knight. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that how quickly you can look out for the patterns. Okay, pattern recognition is something that's very important. You've got queen and bishop on the same diagonal, so we give a check, and that's going to lead to a mate after queen h2. Okay, now last move was to capture here the bishop, right? Pawn captures the bishop. So king and rook, I can attack both of them. So we start with check, and I guess you can just capture the rook. I guess everyone's able to follow this, right? Yeah, perfect. All right, so now this is called, anyone knows about this? What is it called? What is this structure called? Anyone who knows this structure? What is it called? This structure is called what? There is a name to this structure behind a very famous grandmaster. Anyone? Battery, but that is not. It's a battery, of course, but there's a name, specific name given to it. Battery, yeah, fine. It's called the Alekhine's gun. Okay, it's called the Alekhine's gun, not the battery. Like, it's a battery. It's a battery. Rook and but it's called the Alekhine's gun. It's extremely powerful. Yeah. Yes, it's extremely powerful. So you basically look at the last rank. The king cannot escape. Obviously, we're going to go here, capture and capture. The one thing that I want to be very uh, scared, or in fact I'm a little tense, is about misclicks, and those are very common. So okay, so I don't want to mess up with the misclicks, or else we just lose a point somewhere here and there. Okay, now here I've got a queen, bishop, the piece on f8 is hanging. Just pick that piece up and it's a checkmate. Sack the rook. Yeah, it's not sack, but it was trade of the rooks. Yeah, so here we just capture that bishop and it's a checkmate. Again, bishop comes to g7. The king is extremely uh, placed on a square which is very vulnerable for an attack. You have got a pawn, you have got a rook. What can we do to make the best out of it? We have to come with a check. I cannot play any random moves like these and then threaten a mate. I have to go immediate. Like check, king goes here, and then we go to the last rank right away. Yeah, so we give a check and then go to the last rank, and it's going to lead to a mate. Okay, what is the last move here? Okay, king just captured on h7. We are black, right? The pawn is racing here. We are going here. Now this can be tricky at a lot of times. Okay, because you have to promote your pawn and you have to stop white's pawn also. Yeah, exposed king. That is correct. So yeah, promote. Correct. So we play g5, king g6, g4. Now you got to be careful here. You got to be careful. What do we do here? Do we keep pushing? The king is on the same file, or do we get the king here? So we just simply have to calculate. We go g3, e6, g2, e7, promote with a check, and we can stop. And if we go king here, then the king will definitely go to f6, and then this pawn is going to promote. Right? So we actually push the pawn, and now what do we do? 2 moves to promote, 3 moves to promote. So we are going to just promote the pawn. Yeah, you're going to push and promote, and you can stop that pawn. By the way, it's queen versus pawn on the 7th rank. No, kd5 is incorrect. Kd5 is incorrect. No, Rivan, Riva and Jivan. Kd5 incorrect. That's not how it works, because you will actually not be able to promote. Okay, now the bishop is attacking the queen. There's a knight here. Immediately, I'm looking at all the positions here. So, knight attacking the bishop, bishop's attacking my queen right now. And the knight, if I capture it, can give a check. So, I don't have to move my queen. I'll give a check and then pick up the bishop. Now, there's again, the same pattern has come. It's called the Alekhine's gun, right? It's called the Alekhine's gun, right? Queen and 2 rooks. I've got queen and rook on the same file. There's a bishop here, which is pinned for now. What do we do here? Very simple. Yeah, Mahati, yeah, you were right. Knight f3 check will win. Yes, so what do we do? Very simple, this one. We just go on to the last rank. I mean, on the second last rank, on the 7th rank. Yeah, queen goes to f2 check, and don't capture the rook. Okay, that's a wrong move. Queen f1 will win. Yeah, queen f1 and rook f1. Yeah, it's Alekhine. 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 Okay, he was a very famous player. Read about him. Uh, okay, here what is the last move? King has come to b1. I want to play queen d1 checkmate, but there's a queen. Okay, then what is the other thought process that comes to my mind? I can give a check, and then suddenly the king has no escape square because of these 2 pieces here, right? And whatever white does is going to lead to a mate. Don't get carried for queen d3 check. So we go for check here and then pick up that queen with some mate. Now, again, what's the last move? Okay, f3. We have come to rook and pawn. So every time the puzzle is going to get tougher and tougher and tougher, right? Okay, what do we do here? The it seems like it seems like the king is stuck. Do you realize? Do you realize, everyone? Do you realize the king is stuck? King cannot go here, cannot go to any square, and the king is attacking the pawn on d4. So I'm going to, yeah, exactly. I'm just going to go to f4, and that's going to be a mate. Again, what is the thought process? Okay, immediately first you see that the bishop's under attack, but the king is vulnerable on this diagonal. So I need my queen to come here, right? Queen f6 check, and you just capture that rook with the support of the knight. So queen takes on g7, it's a checkmate. Okay, I've got a bishop here. I've got queen also, maybe helpful for this. There's a rook which can come here. Now, there are two options that I can see. Yeah, yeah, that is correct, Mahati. Two options I can see. One is to play bishop takes g7, winning a pawn, but then I'm losing a rook here. Yes, g1. Then I'm losing a rook here. So uh, I have to play what? Rook g3. Yeah, rook g3 attacks the queen. Queen captures. You just simply capture back. You're winning this game because you have a rook for a queen. Sorry, you have a queen for a rook. Now this is again, everyone. This is one of the best ones, and this can happen a lot of times in your games. Okay, and yeah, a lot of times in your games, you have to look out for this diagonal. Okay, the king is exposed along this diagonal. The first thing that should come to your mind is queen h5. But do we play that move immediately? No, we don't play that move immediately. Yes, Rivan. Yes, Rivan. Yes, Riva, you are right. So with queen h5 check, uh, the thing is that if the king moves here, I can just checkmate. If the pawn pushes, I'll just capture here, pawn captures, and we pick up the rook. Right? So queen h5 check, and then we capture here. This is the most common ones, and this will happen if your opponent has played the f pawn. Okay, if your opponent has played the f pawn, this is going to happen for sure. Yeah, let's capture the rook. Now, again, what are the no for what, Riva? Sorry, Bijal. No for what? Okay, now here you see that the knight is pinned. What are the things? What am I observing? What I want you to observe immediately when you see your position. Knight is pinned, rook is pinned, there's a queen awkwardly placed, the king is in the center, my king is safe. I have a rook on an open file, I have another rook. So these are the things I've observed very quickly. Yeah, yeah. So basically, now I look at all the options. This is a blunder, queen captures. So when I see this, the queen is going to capture, so I will not play that move. Yeah, yeah, I'm sure you got it right. None of the rook or the knight can block. Perfect. Okay, what was the last move I just missed out? Okay, knight takes on pawn. Uh, all right, now I've got options here. I can go e1 check, correct? The rook has to block. We have to go for forced variations. Okay, check. Rook blocks. Now the king is the only defender for the rook, and I'll use my bishop. Queen takes h8. Yes, Bijal, that is correct. Riva, rook g8 mate. Rook g8. Rook g8. That was, I guess, rook c8. But anyway, so we go with queen e1, and now we play bishop c5 check, forcing the king to go in, and then we capture that rook. All right, so bishop c5 check, knight d4, pick that up, bishop pick that up, rook pick that up. Okay, everything you just pick it up uh, quickly. Now, again, when we come to the end games, this is going to be always tricky, okay, because even I go wrong a lot of times in such positions because one move here and there and you lose. You lose the. I mean, it could end in a draw or you could even lose the game. So what was here? Pawn to b4. First of all, I want to know what is under attack. I want to know what is under attack. What is under attack? My pawn on a5 is under attack. So I cannot first think of capturing these pawns because white's just going to promote this in like four moves. Oh, okay, Riva. All right, okay, Riva. So what I'm going to do is I'm first going to capture the pawn, right? I'm first going to capture the pawn. So I have to capture here first. Pawn captures. This idea is a bad idea because the king will just pick up all both the pawns. So we capture, king captures, king goes here, we capture this, king captures this pawn, and then four moves we promote. White will not be able to promote. Yeah, so we will trade here, then pick up the pawn here, we pick up the pawn here, and this is like just four moves. Yeah, and then just keep pushing that pawn, make it a queen. You can win that. It's basically queen versus uh, pawn on the seventh rank. It's pretty simple. By the way, which pawn, queen versus which pawn is a challenging pawn? I mean, you can't probably win. It's a draw, possibly. Which pawn is a draw? Queen versus pawn on the seventh rank. Which pawn on the seventh rank is a draw? No, ampersand is not possible, Riva. Ampersand is not possible. Queen versus which pawn on the seventh rank is a draw? On the A and the H file, yeah, A and the H file, yes, that is one. And also the bishop files, even the bishop files, okay? C and F. C and F are also draw, okay? Provided your king is closer. It's not a draw, it's a win. Okay? If the king is closer. Yeah, because you get into stalemate. We'll see that. Because rematch, because you get into stalemate positions if you do that. That's why it's a draw. Generally, it's a draw. But with all other pawns like B pawn, D pawn, E pawn, G pawn, it's a win no matter what. No matter what, it's a win. Yeah, yeah, Jeevan. Okay, now, okay, last move here. Knight has just captured the knight. Now, I've got a queen, I've got a rook, I've got a knight. Now these are the puzzles that you might find overwhelming also because I mean the king is completely exposed. I have a bishop, I have a rook, I have a knight, and there are so many possible checks. I can give a check like this. I can possibly give a check like this. I can give a check like this. Right? All of these checks seem to be winning, but only one of them is going to be correct. Queen to d8, if I give a check, king cannot escape here, cannot go here because of the knight. So that means queen to d8 is a checkmate. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of players I see just randomly go ahead and look out for the knight fork. Look out for other options also. If you see knight f6 as the first move, don't worry. I mean you can just play queen f8, queen to d8 instead. Uh, you have to look out for other options. Yeah, queen d8 is a checkmate. King comes here. Now black is promoting. You have to see this. Black is promoting. You cannot waste time by playing d4 and have a gala time. No. Let's see the king controlling these two squares. Queen is controlling all of these squares. Pawn is controlling these two squares. The squares that are not controlled are d6 and e7. How do I control these two squares and manage to give a check? Yes, Jeevan. Good. Yeah. So that makes life easy. Yeah, that makes the life easy. And I'm not. I can literally go fast from here, but I'm just uh, trying to explain my thought process behind making these moves here. So these squares are all controlled. All of these squares next to the king are controlled, and I just have to control these two squares. So knight f5 is going to be the solution. No, you don't capture the pawn, Riva. You don't capture the pawn. All right. What? King goes to d4. Okay, it's black's turn. Is it? Okay. What is the scenario? Like, where is the pawn going? So this pawn is going here. Yeah. Okay, so white is about to promote. Yeah, white is about to promote. I've got one pawn, and white has just played the king here. Now, again, very challenging because if I capture here, king goes here. Um, and then if I play this, king goes to c6. I have to go here. King goes to b7, f4, king captures, f3, king b7, f2, white promotes, black promotes. Do you think it's a draw? Knight to b5 fork. Yeah, yeah, 1 minute. Yeah, 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 I know. So now if I capture here, the king is running in to this. So I give a check, king moves, I capture this pawn first. This pawn can be captured later, right? So if I give a check, king c5, capture here, even if the king goes anyway, okay, let's go knight b5, king e4, we capture here, h6, capture king f5, king g7, we support that pawn. Knight to b5 is a fork. Yes, Riva, correct. Yeah, Mahdi, that is also correct. Yeah, Bijal, correct. Jeevan, yeah, yeah. So we don't have to really go for capturing here because there are many options here. We see that knight b5 check. You pick. Yeah, we have to pick up the pawn, and then it's done. Again, king queen. This is the first thing I observe. My rook is on the same file, right? My rook is on the same file as that of the king. I want to move my knight. Pawn on f7 is pinned. Knight e6 check. The rook can capture, the king can move away. However, this can be the best move. Since the pawn is pinned, it would be to just capture on g6. Okay, so we're going to capture here, and it's basically a checkmate. Now, again, this is called what? You're coming across similar structures a lot of time. So it's called the Alekhine's gun, right? So, okay. Now I've got a very strong pawn here. White, both the rooks are stuck, and I have a queen eyeing on the square, right? If I have a queen eyeing on that square, that means I can get one of my rooks here to attack and threaten the mate. Yeah, correct. Ali Khan's gun. Yeah, correct, correct, Mahdi. So I can get one of my rooks to attack on b2. Now rook b8 is not possible because queen will simply capture that rook. So the correct move would be to get the rook to b6. Okay. Rook takes on e3. I'll play queen takes on b2, checkmate, game over. You don't have to calculate further. Yeah. So rook b6, queen captures, just recapture. Uh, by the way, what do we do here? Now, if you think that you're going to save your queen, you're wrong. Okay, if you think that you're going to save the queen, you're wrong. We are just simply going to capture the rook, and then we capture back with the rook. All right, what's the last move here? Okay, rook to e2. Rook e2, blocking the attack on the queen. I've got my queen here to go onto the last rank. The things that I'm observing are pretty simple. The king is stuck onto the last rank. I have to go to the last. I have to go to, yeah, rook endgame. Yeah, I have to go to the last rank. Yeah, Murray, that's correct. Rook up endgame. So we go queen d8 check. This is called what? What is this tactic called, by the way? Anyone? What is this tactic called? What is this tactic called? Yeah, queen d8 is correct. Perfect. Bijal, Mahdi. But what is this called? A checkmate? That's okay. I'm asking a tactic. Name of this tactic. Anyone? Yeah, perfect. X-ray. Yes. Mahdi, that is correct. X-ray. This is called X-ray. The rook is indirectly attacking on e8. Okay? Indirectly. Rook is indirectly attacking on e8. Yeah, Riva. Yes. So we first capture here, and then we capture here, and it's a checkmate. Okay, b5. Now the puzzles are going to start getting slightly tougher. Yeah, Bijal, correct. Puzzles are going to slightly start getting tougher. b5 is played. I have a pawn to promote. There's a bishop attacking my pawn. Yes, I want to promote. What do I do? I have to move my rook. But if I move my rook, the bishop's going to capture. Yeah. So the if the bishop's going to capture, I can't move my rook. If I can't move my rook, white is just going to push and promote. White's winning. So here I'll go with oops, sorry. I'll go with a check. What happens? Yeah, Mahati, yeah, right. Go with a check because when the king captures, I promote with a check. Still, it's bishop versus rook and two pawns. Very insufficient. King moves to h2, and then we play queen f4 check, winning that piece, and that queen and two pawns you can definitely defend. No f5, no, that's incorrect, Jeevan. So we go with a check, we promote queen check and pick up that bishop. Rian, that is not a back rank. Rian, that is not a back rank. That's not called back rank. Okay, what is the move here? Rook to a5. You notice that what am I looking at? I've got two rooks. I've got a bishop here which is under attack. White has very bad position of the bishop and the rook right now. Right? The bishop cannot move because I'll capture that. The king is very badly placed as well. So this one of the rooks is controlling the file. So if I give a check, now if you give this check, it's incorrect. You have to see there's a bishop, and this is where most of you will go wrong. So I'll give a check to start off. I see that check is the best move here. The king has to go to b2. The rook is hanging. I'll have to give a check, forcing the king to go on to the last rank, and then getting this rook here. So we go check, check, and mate. Yeah, yeah, Murthy, that's correct. Yeah. So you see this checkmate. The rook controls the last rank. The king cannot capture on c2 because the bishop's defending it. Yes, Jeevan. That's a mate. I have a pawn here. That means I need my queen here. I need my queen here. Okay, that's one. Second, the last rank is going to be completely vulnerable if there is no rook. That is my thought process. Okay, there's a pawn here. That means I'm controlling this square. The king cannot escape. So the pawn acts as a square which controls both of them. Right now, the rook, if you play in something like this, it's too slow. Too slow. Okay, we're not going to go for that. So the queen also cannot defend the last rank. Oh, yeah, right. So we just simply capture check. King cannot escape. We get the rook onto the last rank check, leading to a mate. Okay, what is the last move here? Okay, queen has captured a rook. It seems everything is equal right now, but the bishop is pinned. I have to act immediately. Okay, so if I capture here, rook takes e7 check, king takes queen e6 check, king goes to d8. Do you want to capture the rook, or do you want to play something else? If you can visualize that, it's a tough one, really. Actually, you can play any of that. Knight d7, king g7, queen f6, king g8. No, actually, you have to. Okay, I guess I know. Yeah. So here we don't have no rook e2, knight d7. No, knight d7 can be problematic because king g7, queen f6, king g8, queen e6, king g7. We'll see. So we have to definitely capture here. We have to definitely capture here. We get the queen. And now, if I go knight d7 check, now I have an option to capture the rook. Should I capture the rook immediately? Okay, Riva. So should I capture the rook immediately? No. No. First, I have to calculate the other option. Yeah, Mira. Yes, capture. Yeah. Knight d7 check, king g7, queen f6 check, king g8. Do I find a mate anyhow? No, there's no mate, right? So I think I should capture the rook simply. And I'm coming with the check also. So that shouldn't be a really big problem. So I can just capture the rook. Okay, this is again very classic. If you have heard the term legal's mate, how do I identify these puzzles so quickly? Is look at these pieces. My knight is placed on e5. There's a bishop eyeing on f7. There's a knight. We can come d5. I just lost a queen here. So I'll just start off with bishop f7 check. King has to come to e7 only square. I have to give a check and control both of these squares. Both of these squares I got to control. Yeah, and I have to give a check. So knight to d5 is a checkmate. Okay, king f8. Why is he offering me a free rook? This can happen in your games. Yeah. In fact, whenever you solve the puzzle rush, so it's a free. In fact, the mate. Yeah. Queen takes the rook. It's a checkmate. Rook c1. Rook again. This is the fourth time we are coming with a similar pattern. Yeah, similar pattern again. It's called the Alekhines gun. Yeah, Alekhines gun. So Alekhines gun is very powerful for the ones who are just joining in. Alekhines gun is extremely powerful because you have three major pieces attacking the pawn on g2. Yeah, and only two defenders here really, the king and the queen. Yes. Yeah, Bijal, the spelling of Alekhine is incorrect, but yeah, that's correct. Yes, crazy wins. That is correct. Alekhines, Alekhines. Okay, Alekhine, Alekhine. Alekhine. Okay. All right. So we start off with Rook G2 check. The queen didn't capture. The queen all and gun. Yeah, the queen didn't capture. So what do I do? Very, very simple. What do I do? Yeah, correct, correct, Mahati. What do I do? Now, I want to expose the king on the H file. That's the hint. Sue, okay. Yeah, Bijil, correct. So what do I do? I sacrifice. I want to open this H file. Yeah, I want to open. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, rook h2 check, king h2, and queen goes to h6 check, queen h4. Pick that queen for free. It's a checkmate. Yes. So rook h2 check, has to capture check, has to capture. It's a mate. Right. Okay. What's the move here? Okay, queen captures the pawn here. Alright, see, if you don't know what the previous move is, you can't play. So sometimes, in fact, most of the times, I want to see what my opponent has just played so that I can make a correct choice. Again, this pawn is attacked one, two, three times, and not two times, three times. Defended one, two, and three times. So I can't really capture there, but let's calculate. Rook f2, rook f2, bishop f2, not going to work. Next, rook g6 check, king goes to h2 or h1. Then that opens up the file for my queen. The king goes here, I have queen f3. The king goes here, I have queen f4. And eventually that's going to lead to a mate. No, rook f2 will be incorrect. Rook f2 will be incorrect. Rook f2, you lose a piece. Yeah, so you'll go rook g6 check. And then you go queen f4 check here. Queen f4. Because uh, we have to force after this check we have to force the king to go here, then we give a check, and then there's a mate. Yeah, so I have to go check, and yeah, basically it's forced mate. So now I've got a queen which can attack the rook, which is for free. I want to capture that rook with the queen, not the bishop. Okay, that's the thought process. First, I also see there's knight g6 check, allowing my queen to capture the rook, right? I can capture here, but then it gives black an option to play something like queen takes on e5, right? So I really don't want that. And as white, right now I'm two rooks down, isn't it? So there's three minor pieces. Black has three minor pieces. Queen for queen. So I'm basically two rooks down, clearly losing, right? So knight g6 check. Should I just right away play it? No, 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 no. Because pawn captures, I first have to calculate. Check, king goes here, check, king goes here, checkmate. Do you see that through? Do you see that through? So we go check, pawn captures, check. Okay, we capture that, check, and then there's a mate here. Queen h8. It's like a back rank mate, but on the side. It's like a back rank on the side. Okay, I have a bishop here eyeing this pawn, pawn attacking my piece, pawn attacking the second piece. I've got a knight here, I've got a queen here. The first move that comes to my mind is, of course, bishop takes on f7, without a doubt. Because how am I supposed to defend both? Knight e5, I just lose this bishop. Yeah, so bishop f7 check. Should I make that move immediately? No, again, I have to think, right? King 8 takes, knight e5 check. Uh, King goes to g7, then queen g4 check, and that wins. King f6, queen g6 is a mate. And bishop f7 check, king f7, knight to e5 check. If the king manages to go back, we still capture on g4 with the idea of queen g6 checkmate, which is again quite impossible to stop. He'll have to play e6. So we are going to go. So Vijay, we are going to go till the point we are going to go wrong twice. So check, check, and that's it. We win. Okay, what's the last move here? Queen to b, queen to d, queen to b4. But most probably I plan to end it by 10:30. Okay, I guess that could be enough for us to. My top score is 55, but that has been the best one till now. Okay, what is the move here? Queen to b4. So what is the thought process again? I've got two rooks. I've got a queen here. I've got an open file. The queen eyes on that square. There's a knight. There's a bishop here. Knight controlling these two squares of important squares. I want to checkmate here. I need my rook to come on to c2. Do you all see that? I need my rook to come on to c2. But if I play rook c2 right away, is there any possible check that white could give? Yes, which is knight c5. I can just pick that up. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Hi Rohit, I'm good. So I'll play what? I'll play rook c2, right? And that's going to be winning. Okay, e4, attacking my queen, and I can't really capture because the rook is here. How do we continue? The queen is there. Yeah, there's a queen here on b4 already. I wanted to checkmate here. I want everyone subscribe. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Rohit. So I have an option of going to a2 with the idea of hitting here. Queen and rook are extremely powerful in the seventh rank. Okay, extremely powerful. They become unstoppable. Okay, so I have an option of going on to a2. So queen a2 and threatening on g2. There is absolutely no way that white can defend it. White could possibly think of giving a check, but you can just capture that with the pawn. So I'll go queen a2, bishop h4. I can just capture. Check. King goes here. How do we continue after that? Yeah, my top score is 55. Crazy twins. My top score is 55. Thank you, Rohit. Yeah. So of course we are going to capture here on this pawn, right? Rook takes on g2 check. Okay, I just have to see one more thing is that I'm not under check by, the queen e7 is not there, knight c5 check. I can just capture with the pawn. They are not a check, so I can just capture here. King f1. Now, don't feel like, oh, what do you do now? There's no mate here because the bishop and the rook are controlling the squares. I can just simply capture here with the idea of getting my queen to g2 or even playing rook h1. Either of them are going to be mates, right? So let's I guess we are free to capture there because rook and queen, yeah, just capture here and that's correct. What's the last move? Okay, rook takes on e3. I've got a queen, knight, two rooks here, queen attacking this pawn. And by the way, again the same kind of pattern we come across, which is called Alekhine pattern, extremely powerful. But this time it's the black. Our opponent is having that structure, right? Now, what do we do in such a case? I can't play. Black has a bishop here. Black has this very powerful pieces on this file. Um, there is an X-ray indirect attack on the rook that I can see, right? So if I capture here, rook captures, rook captures, rook captures. There's nothing really there. If I capture on e8, rook captures e1, rook captures e1, queen captures e1, and that's not looking good. I could not understand. Yeah, that's okay. Some it now the puzzles are now going to get tougher and tougher. Yeah, spoken structure. No, Alekhine. Okay, now I can't give a check. If I capture here, queen takes, knight takes, and I'm winning there. Seventh rank equal to second rank, powerful queen and rook. Yeah, exactly. Correct, Rian. That is correct. So for white, this is the seventh rank. If I'm black, this is my seventh rank for black from the black's perspective. So queen takes rook, queen captures, knight captures, rook captures here, rook captures. So I'm just winning up. So you see, I have an indirect attack on this rook with my rook on e1. So that's called X-ray. Yeah. Queen takes on e7, rook 8, e7. No. Queen takes on e7, rook takes on e7, rook takes, not really working. If I capture queen takes on e8, queen takes on e8, knight takes on e8, that works instead. Mahdi, I can't capture here because queen takes e7. This rook recaptures back. Oh, sorry. Rook 8 e captures. Sorry. Rook this captures back. And if you capture here, this rook captures nothing there again. So I think this. rook 8 captures is not working. So we are going to capture here. Now the question is, should we capture with the knight? Because this check, check, no, it's not working. So I guess check, rook queen captures, knight captures, and the rook is just stranded there. So I can just capture here, and then I can capture here, and then I can capture. So I'm basically a rook up. All right, what is the move here? Okay, queen to d3. My rook is pinned. What are the things I'm quickly observing? My rook is pinned along the diagonal. I have a knight which is attacking the bishop. There's a queen attacking here. That means I don't want to capture the bishop for free for now. Okay, I can't capture the rook because it's pinned. However, if I capture here, uh, there will be queen d1 check and black wins. So first we go check, captures, check, and then we capture here. Knight fork, knight fork. Okay, so check, check, and pick up the queen, and this is fine. You're winning with an extra knight on the board. What's the last move again? Queen captures on f4. White has a very strong pass pawn. There's a rook here attacking my queen. The rook is also under attack. Like, this position is something uh, you really don't want to play this position as black. Everything is under attack. Knight into c5 threatening a mate also. Was it threatening a mate? No, but queen d1 check wins. Queen d1 check, rook e1, queen takes e1 will be a checkmate for in that position. Previous one that doesn't work. You will lose your rook, or you will get checkmated, or you will lose your rook and queen. In fact, so now what do we do? Okay, coming back here, what is the last move? Queen has just come to f4. If I capture the queen, rook captures, pawn captures, b6. Yeah, it's blunder, right? So b6, my rook suddenly cannot make it back because the b4 square is covered. You see, if I capture here, try to just visualize this. If I capture the queen, rook captures the queen, I recapture, pawn b6, my rook cannot come here because there's a pawn. Now how do I get this rook to stop this? So let's say rook captures, pawn captures, b6, rook goes here, b7, check, we go here and stop the pawn. Exposed king, yeah, but how do I give a check with that? Like, I can't give a check from here or here because the rook will capture. Check from here, the queen will capture. Check, but the king, I think, will escape here. No way. So I guess the correct solution here is we capture, rook captures here, pawn captures, then the rook go, of course, white goes b6, we go rook a4, b7, the pawn is about to promote, we go check and come back and stop that pawn. Okay, so let's go ahead. It's a forced variation, of course. So we go, and the only move is rook a4, by the way. This is not possible. So rook a4, check, and b1 is stop that rook and capture. f3. Okay, f3. Immediately my queen is eyeing here, my bishop's there, my rook is hanging. Such checks are not going to work. Queen, two rooks here. Queen is possibly going to go here, not go there. Okay, fair enough. Queen possibly can capture here. Immediately the king is capturing the rook. That's what I can see for sure. I have some options here. When I see that the rook is pinned, so if I play bishop c4, queen 6, queen takes on c4 can be the best option for white because I can't capture on d1. Queen h3 seems to be the most logical because there's no checks and I'm threatening queen h1 mate. Queen h3, how does white defend that queen h1? Queen e3, uh, queen h1, queen, oh, this, queen f5, queen e4, check is not possible. Um, Queen f5 check, I can just pick up that for free. E4 is there's a bishop. Yeah, I think queen h3 is going to be the move. Queen takes h3, check. Yeah, I can just capture. So yeah, queen h3, I guess, because you're going to go here, and that's just free queen. Yeah. All right, knight d2. I have a queen attacking this pawn. There is a pawn here. There's a rook here. Right. There's a bishop pinning the pawn on f2 as well. So I've got these two pawns which are pinned. Right. I want to put more pressure on this pawn. How is white going to defend that? How is white going to defend that? If I play h3, how is white going to defend that? My king is safe. Look at those things. My king is safe, completely safe behind his pawns. Behind my opponent's pawn, the king is safe. Yeah. If this was your pawn, you would lose queen takes e4. Yeah. So it's actually sometimes safer behind your opponent's pawn itself, right? So h3, g3. I'll pick that pawn also because, and I don't see any way. And you have to be careful in positions like these because h3. Uh, there could be some other move also. I'm just trying to think if there is another option here for white really, or for black. In fact, h3 is one candidate move I see. Mm, Queen e3, queen e2. Yeah, no, I guess three we can just win, and now we can just capture this pawn is pinned. Yeah, check, and there's a mate. Knight c3. I have a bishop on this diagonal. There's a queen here. There's a rook which is there. Okay, the king is stranded. Yeah. So immediately, first thing that comes to my mind is queen d2 check. King goes to f1. That means maybe material wise I'm down. Two rooks, three pieces, two pieces. I'm a piece down. I'm a piece down. I've got two minor pieces. Black has got three minor pieces. Yeah. So I have to either checkmate or win more than a piece. Okay, to win this game finally. So queen d2 check, king f1, queen c3 is not going to work unless there is something bigger. So okay. So queen d2 check. There is a queen on the same diagonal. And I guess if you get to know this, you get the solution to it as well. Queen d2, and now the queen's controlling this diagonal. We need, yes, g1. Yes, g1, you're right. Queen d2 is correct. We get the bishop. We use this bishop. We don't capture. A lot of people just capture that knight for free. Okay, let's pick up. Why didn't I capture that knight? Because I looked at the material. Yeah. So we go bishop e3. Just a quick check. Are there any checks possible? There's no checks possible, right? Yeah, bishop e3. Pick up that. There's a mate here. There's a knight queen attacking there. There's a rook queen on the same diagonal, right? Quickly we have to observe all of these things. Knight f3 check, rook f3, rook d1 check, and pick up that queen. Does it make sense? Why can I solve this is quickly is because I can look at these patterns. You have to look at the squares where the pieces are placed. Yeah. So knight f3 check, king goes here, just queen h2 mate, knight f3, rook f3, rook d1 check, and pick up that queen. Knight e2. Knight e2 is not possible. Knight e2. E2 is this square. I have to give a check. Yeah, it's not a double attack. It's a discovered attack. Yeah. So we start with a check, 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 check. Yeah. We capture here. We give a check. We capture here, and then we capture the queen. Okay. What's the last move? Okay, c4. All right. En passant lovers. There's an option of en passant. Okay. But we don't want to play that immediately. This square is controlled. The king has only one square. Knight e2 is not possible, Mahati. Knight e2 for bishop e3. Bishop e, you capture the queen then. Bishop e3, they capture the queen. There was a queen on a7. Okay, king a3. Here is an option for the king to move. I can start off with a check. King goes to a3. Uh, I need my knight on c2. That means knight e1. King goes here, check. King goes here. So the king is escaping, right? So king goes here. So if the king what do I do in this case? A lot of pawn storms here, really. So many pass pawns, like except one, two, three, four, five pass pawns. Right. So we start off with check. King goes here, check. King comes back. There's nothing. So if I start check, king goes here. Maybe knight d2. King goes to b4. Hmm. I don't know where it's heading. Let's see if I go knight e1, b4, a5. Knight captures on d3. Uh, no, that's not the best move either. So rook h2 check, king a3. I see this knight do knight b1. If I have knight e1 and knight c2 check, then I can win really, because knight b4 and knight c6, that can make me win. If I do an on pass, king captures. Uh, okay. We don't promote the pawn really. Pawn chain, it's too many. Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, if king takes the knight, yeah, we have to do so. Rook h2 is not really working here. So if I do on pass, king captures, king and the knight are on the same file. Rook c8 pins that knight. Yeah. So we get rook c8 and just pick up that knight. What do I observe? There's a bishop on the diagonal. There's a bishop here which is under attack. I have a knight here. Rook and king are on the same file. My queen is defending, right? So these are the pieces which are right now extremely active, right? So now I have options of playing knight f3. I have options of playing knight e2 check. Both of them are possible. I have to find the best move. Rook c8. Rook c8 for what, Amit? I don't know. Rook c8 for what? Uh, okay, okay. Rook c8 for the previous one. Yeah, perfect. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Rook c8 for previous one, right? Okay. Knight f3 check king h1. What do I do now? Knight e2 check. King h1, knight g3, hg3. So now things are getting tougher. Knight pin is idea. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To pin the knight is earlier one. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Correct, Mahati and yeah, exactly. So now, if I go knight f3 check, king h1, can move a knight back under attack, but that opens up this file. I'm not really happy with that. That's the problem. I'm not happy with the rook getting on an open file. Knight e2 double check. King goes here. If I capture check, pawn captures. Okay, that's not working the best maybe. Uh, okay, let's say bishop f3, pawn captures, knight f3 double check, king goes here. Okay, that's also not really working well. Okay, knight e2 check, king goes here. Uh, check, capture. Okay, but I need my queen on the h file. I need my queen on the h file. Yeah, it is. But I need my queen on the h file. How do I get my queen on the h file? I see one idea is bishop f3, gf3, knight e2, there, queen d7, but it's going to be very slow. Uh, so let's say check, king goes to h1, knight g3, g3, and knight h5. How do you stop knight takes on g3, queen e1? Or even if the bishop is captured, you will play knight g3, king h2, knight f1. That is, so again, if I have to see all of that, I have to see the compensation that I've got right now. I've got four minor pieces against two minor pieces, so two pieces there. I don't have a rook, so rook versus two pieces. Okay, so if I give check, king goes here, check, capture, knight h5, captures here, I'll give a check, king h2, captures here, check, queen captures. So at that point I've lost a knight, I've lost this bishop, I've lost this knight, and I've got back a bishop and a rook. So, in fact, even this knight, no, I've lost. Yeah, knight e2, knight g3. Yeah. So, knight for knight, two rooks. Okay, rook and two pieces. So, I've got, it's kind of equal. Basically, I lose two pieces, get back. But then I win an extra pawn. Okay, knight h5, fg4, knight g3 is not a check. Okay, I'm under check actually, fg4, because of the rook. So, what do we do here? Knight f3 check, king h1, knight h2. I think attacks the rook and attacks the queen. That's what I feel. Queen G1, Queen G, Queen G6. No, Queen G6 is, how's it? I guess we have to do this and then capture the rook. Dun dun dun. Knight f3, king h1, knight h2, attacking. Yeah, so that's what I feel we have to go, because knight e2, king h1, knight g3. Generally, the tactic is like knight g3, h3, and then the queen comes to h5, and then that's the mate. But in this case, we don't have that. So I guess we have this check. You capture here and win the rook, because the bishop attacks the. Then there's no rook f6 business, because your queen can capture, and that seems pretty fine. So I guess this is correct, and I think this should also be correct. Just a final take. Once I capture here, queen moves somewhere, I can pick up the rook, right? Okay, queen cannot capture here. I'll just capture back with this knight, because this knight is pinned, and if rook f6, I'll still capture with the queen. You can't, if you capture here, there's a knight. I guess, yeah, we can just capture here, and then we're safe to capture the rook immediately. Yeah, perfect. All right, next one is where we've got pawn captures here. First thing, I've got my queen, bishop, rook, everyone eyeing on g3. Yeah, Tanmay, yeah, correct, Tanmay, perfect. So first I will have to capture here on with the rook. This is pretty simple, right? For this level, rook takes, pawn takes, queen takes check, king goes here, and queen h2 mate. Right, so let's go. I guess we'll go with this check. Okay, but pawn is not going to capture, by the way. Pawn is not going to capture. So check, king goes to h1, rook g1 check, rook g1, we come with a check ourselves. So rook h3 check, king goes here, and queen h2 checkmate, right? So check, oops, all right. So now we still can go here, because king captures and queen h2 is a mate. Rook g2, king g2, queen h2, king f3. So that's not a mate. So we go rook h3 check, king and queen h2 is a mate. What has happened here? Okay, queen has captured the pawn on e5. I have a bishop on this diagonal. There's a rook. There are two rooks here. I've got a queen which can jump to a5. There's a queen which can go to even a2. Okay, bye, 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 Jivan. You can. So what I have is uh, what I can do here. What I can do. What I can do. Okay, maybe we'll maybe do it for next 5 or 10 minutes more. We'll do it for 5 to 10 minutes more. Are you all enjoying this puzzle rush? By the way, are you all enjoying this puzzle rush? Just type in yes so that I know. I'm just you know, if you're enjoying it, just type in yes. Okay. I've got my queen to a5, threatening a mate. Queen and rook are there here. Hmm. What do I do? 1 second. 1 second, everyone. Oh, 1 second. Okay, okay, okay. All right. So, okay, let's get back. Oh, Tanmay, I guess, has solved rook f1, and queen a5, forcing a mate on this square. That seems to be the most logical solution. So, queen a5, if I play right now, right away. Okay, how do you stop queen a2 with the same idea? What is the rook f1 check? Rook takes queen a5. So if I start with queen a5 first, there can be pawn takes on the pawn. Mm, okay, let's say rook f1, queen a5, pawn takes. There's no possible way I can continue, right? Rook f1, queen a5, pawn takes b3, because the a file is not open. Yeah, because the a file, yeah, Priya, it's right. A file is not open, or else there's just simply queen to a1. However, the move that comes to my mind also is kind of bishop f6, queen f4. Let's say we hit here, here. Does it work by any way? King d2. No, that's not working. Okay, so let's say if we, okay, we'll just simplify it down. We have options. We have rook f1. We have this. We have this, right? And maybe bishop f6, but you're losing a rook. I'm not so in favor. However, I can also think of rook a4 as an option, because rook a4 allows me the idea of playing rook a1 check, king a1, queen a5 check, queen a2 checkmate. So rook a4 also is one of the options I can see here. Rook a4 pawn captures. If I check, king goes here. Then we give a check, king goes here, and still there is no way. So that means I have to force that. So queen a5. If I start off first, queen a5, pawn captures pawn. Rook f1 is not still working, right? So bc2, king c2, rook c4, king b1. Queen a5 has no threat. For some reason, I feel I should go with rook a4. Captures. Check goes here. Check goes here. This is hanging right now. bc4, b takes c4 and rook to c4. B takes c4. How can b takes c4 be possible? I don't know. What do you mean by b takes on c4? B takes on c4 is this. Uh, how is that possible? B takes c4 and rook to c4. Okay. Let's concentrate. Queen a5. Let's say I start with queen a5 first. Okay. Let's simplify. If I start with queen a5 check, I mean queen a5 first, you can't capture here because of check goes here, check goes here. That means you can capture on g5. Check is not possible because of bishop. So I think queen a5, white can simply capture with the rook. Is it? Check, check, king goes there. Even if you capture this rook, there's a mate on g7. So, one second, it's too cold. All right. Ah, challenging one. All right. What do we do? Okay. How about bishop f6 first? Queen takes f4. I think rook a4 has to be the move. I think rook a4 has to be the move. The idea is pretty simple. Queen capture, capture, queen a5, queen a2 is a mate, right? So rook a4. Let's say rook a4. You do either two things. One, you capture here, or you capture the bishop. So if you capture the bishop, I give a check. Let's say you capture with the queen. Check, king captures queen a5. King goes check. King goes here. Um, that also is not working. So I need the king, white king on a1. Pawn takes pawn on the rook c4. Pawn takes pawn, rook c4 check. Rook a4, white can take the bishop. Yeah, rook a4, white can take the bishop. Rook a4, white can take the bishop. That's true. Okay, bishop for bishop, two rooks, 3, 4, and 5. So let's say if I think of capturing on c2, pawn captures pawn, king captures. Uh, let's say rook f2, king b1, rook b2, queen b2. No, okay, because rook b2, king b2, king bishop f6 is there. So rook b2 he'll capture of course with the queen, but then I don't even have rook c8. That's the saddest part. I don't even have rook c8. Uh, queen a5 capture, check, king goes here, Okay, rook f2, capture this. Okay, check. Ah, I guess I'm there. Okay, so I start with rook f2. If you capture with the queen, check. If the king goes to c1, I give a check. King captures here. Rook cannot capture, of course, because queen captures the queen. So rook f2, you capture with the queen, check. If the king goes here, there's queen a5. Or here, queen a5, king b3, queen a4, king c3, queen c4 is a mate. So rook f2, queen g5, pawn captures check, king c1, and then I give rook f1, king c2, and then that's when we get the queen to c7, king d3, queen c4. I guess we're getting it. King e3, queen e2, or rook e2, I guess. Queen e2, king d4, or rook e2, king f3, and queen e4. That's leading to a mate. I guess rook f2 is the move. Rook f2 is the move, I guess. Oh, rook f2, I guess, is the rook f2. I guess is the move. Or let's say we capture rook f2 check. King goes to b1. Bishop f6. Isn't that even stronger? What do you think? It's becoming very tough. I know. I agree. Capture. Rook f2 check. King goes to b1. Then I have bishop f6, winning that pawn. Capture. Rook f2 check. If the king goes to d1, then I have rook d2 check. Yeah, we just saw that. Capture. Rook f2 check. Rook f2. If rook takes on g5, I have this check. King goes to c1, and queen a5. We don't have king g7. Yeah, this that means we have to go with this check. Check. King captures. Rook f2 check. King goes to b1 and bishop f6. Let's try it out now. I guess rook f2 and bishop f6, and then we can capture here. Tough one, but yeah, we got it. Okay, I guess just it's already quite getting quite late. Maybe we can halt here for now because it's getting quite late. Yeah, this is going to take a while. I mean, I guess like this, it can just go on. Yeah. By the way, this Saturday, I'm going to come live, and I'm going to play some Blitz games, 2+1. Okay. If you want, you can play with me also. I am ready to do that. If you want, I can play with you all as well, one by one, or I'll also stream and we can have fun. All right. Yeah, we'll stop here for today because it's quite getting quite late for now. We'll stop here. Did you all? I hope you all enjoyed the stream. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the stream as well. All right. That's a wrap for today. All right, and I'll see you on Saturday. This Saturday, I'll let you know the time. Should be in the evening hours. I'll play with you all 2+1. It's going to be a bullet. Yeah, bullet format. Yeah. All right. Chalo. Then see you all. Enjoy. Take care. Bye bye. Good night.